Doubleheader wrapped up here in Rome. Eventful is an understatement. Proper city street circuit racing at its finest, and now is the time where we dissect it and see what we can take away from round 3 and 4 of season 7.
Roland goes for it again in the same corner. Now, here comes Natto. And Stoffel Vandoorne wins the Rome E-Prix.
Redemption.
So let's start by talking about the weekend's winners and top performers. Round 3, Jean-Eric Vergne took the win and Stoffel Vandoorne in round 4, alongside the likes of Sam Bird, Mitch Evans, Alexander Sims and Pascal Wehrlein making up the podiums. But what does it all mean for the championship and how did it play out?
Jean-Eric Vergne's win in round 3 came after a battle of former champions with Lucas di Grassi.
Going head to head for the lead, di Grassi covers the inside, Vergne goes to the outside, surely no room around there.
That win could have given him and the Audi Sport team victory, but a mechanical issue retired him from the race in the closing stages. 5 minutes away from ending an almost 2-year win drought for Audi in Formula E. But it wasn't to be, and Vergne capitalised.
So he goes out wide, he'll lose the places, Vergne retakes the lead of the race.
An inspired effort and turnaround for Jev and the team after the freak incident in FP1 severely damaged his car, giving his mechanics a huge job to do to get it repaired in time. So heading into qualifying and the race, he had very little track time. Now that's invaluable for any race weekend, but was especially imperative in Rome, where the circuit layout was different and the conditions were changing so frequently. Unpredictable bumps and surface changes getting the better of the best drivers. Not to mention the fact that the team were running a new powertrain and needed as much program data as they could get to maximise any improvements. Despite the setbacks, however, Jev flew into Superpole and drove a dream race from P5 to take the win.
Yes!
Unbelievable work from the 2-time former champion, who showed his minerals once again alongside the fantastic repair job from the DS Techeetah team. Another key narrative from round 3 is the double Jaguar podium, which we'll get onto shortly. In round 4, it was all about redemption for Mercedes and Stoffel Vandoorne. After slumping from pole position to a DNF the day before, when the two Mercedes collided trying to avoid the slowing di Grassi. But in the later groups of quali in round 4, on a track that quickened by almost 7 seconds per lap between the groups, was a great place to be for someone as quick as Stoffel Vandoorne in control of in-form Mercedes EQ machinery. Starting the race P4, Vandoorne got his head down, battling with a super slippery track to make up the positions, keep out of the trouble that unfolded ahead and make some courageous overtakes to snatch the lead. He built an almost 5-second cushion, but when more drama behind brought out the safety car, that gap was lost and he'd have to do it all again on the restart. It was a close battle with Sims closing in, but Stoffel held him off and secured his first win of the season, second in Formula E. Credit where it's due though for Sims and Wehrlein completing the round 4 podium. This was not an easy race to avoid mistakes and hold positions, but Sims' mastercraft and understanding of electric racing gave the Mahindra Racing team their first podium since the Santiago E-Prix in 2019. Wehrlein should also leave Rome with his head held high, a podium for his new team in only the second race weekend. Yes, they may have lost a potential lead, but there's still lots of positives to take away, and points, something Wehrlein has secured at every race so far this season, the only driver to do so. That first Tag Heuer Porsche win feels like it's on its way if they can find a way to stay at the front of the pack.
The Rome races gave us more than a few eyebrow-raising moments across the grid, but there are a few stories starting to unfold that paint a bit of an intriguing picture of which teams are already looking like title contenders and which teams are exceeding expectations, even at this early stage of the season.
With the round 3 win and super quick race pace, DS Techeetah are once again looking like real contenders. They have their first win of the season secured, but even when things don't seem to go their way in qualifying, their race pace is very impressive. In round 4, Vergne and Da Costa made up 17 places between them. Jev from P20 to P11 and Da Costa P7 from P15. They were already looking quick in the previous races, but their new powertrain, which debuted in Rome, is looking like it's taken things up a notch. That level of race pace and efficiency, combined with the lineup of former champions, is a seriously competitive mix. If they can bring that pace into qualifying, DS the Cheetah are looking good for a title charge. Jaguar Racing are flying so far in Season 7, and they are for sure in the mix of title hopefuls. Round 3 showed great racecraft and strategy to move both drivers up the grid, P12 and P10 to 2nd and 3rd. It's not that often that we get the chance to see teams move up the grid together thanks to the nature of the qualifying groups, and when it does happen, we've seen it end in trouble. See DS the Cheetah, Rocket Venturi, Nissan and so on. But the Jaguar team strategy was flawless. They didn't get in each other's way, they maximised attack mode use and energy management, and used the wealth of experience in both drivers to fight their way onto the podium. Their 4th podium of the season, 2 each for Evans and Bird, and the first double podium for the team in Formula E. The first in 30 years in all motorsport. This lineup is turning into a bit of a dream team. An equally competitive lineup is something that Jag have missed in past seasons, but Bird has firmly put an end to that. They leave Rome head of both driver and team's championship standings. There's still a way to go, but things are going pretty well so far. Mercedes EQ have looked like a strong proposition so far this season, 2 wins in 4 races, albeit with a few cases of bad luck in round 2 and the team incident in round 3. But Vandoorne's victory confirms the team's capabilities to win races this season, if they can avoid trouble and maximise their performances. In the Rome preview, we talked about the underdogs taking us by surprise, Neo 333 being one of them. Well, they leave Rome with even more points, thanks to Tom Blomqvist's 2 top 10 finishes after penalties. Scoring points is something that happened rarely for Neo in previous seasons, so it's a fantastic step up for the team. Considering the Turvey incident in Free Practice 1 which nearly destroyed the car, meaning he couldn't start in round 3 and could only manage 14th in round 4, leaving Italy with points is a great result for the team. The penalties help, sure, but you have to be patient and be in the right position to capitalise and make the most of any luck. And that is what Neo have done excellently so far.
What we got here were 2 drama-filled races with endless plot twists. Much of that the result of the ever-evolving conditions.
This season's Rome street layout had a number of challenges for the drivers. The surface itself, bumps with the undulation, the catalyst in a number of penalties seen across the weekend for power spikes, and varying levels of grip corner to corner. These challenges were amplified drastically by the rain. Drivers were struggling for grip, battling to keep the rear of the car stable and out of trouble. The changing grip across the circuit with the rain and slippery conditions played havoc in the qualifying groups. In round 4, there was almost 7 seconds between lap times across the groups, as the rain settled and the racing line was improved. Even then, the conditions were treacherous still. The lack of grip in the wet conditions was deemed too dangerous for a standing start, so upon pre-race inspection by the race director, the decision was made to start both races behind the championship's new mini-electric safety car. The Rome circuit produced some of the trickiest conditions we've seen for a while, as rain is not something often experienced in Formula E. A further example of the challenges of driving in this championship, in these electric beasts with spec tyres and very little room for error.
Every season we seem to ask the question, who will come out on top? Will it be the championship veterans with all the experience, or will it be the rookies with the hunger to prove themselves? This doubleheader has got us thinking about that again.
Round 3 was a showcase of Formula E experience. De Grassi, Vergne, 2 former champions battling at the front, Bird and Evans too flying their way up the field as so many struggled or were bettered by the conditions and mistakes, either their own or by others. René Rast was the only driver new to Formula E in the top 10 come the end of the race. Round 4 gave us a different perspective, where we witnessed the first all-rookie front row since the first ever Formula E race, thanks to Nick Cassidy and Norman Nato's flying Super Pole laps. A great place for the 2 rookies to be, Cassidy's pole especially, considering the impressive pace he's been displaying since the start of the season that has amounted to very little, thanks to rough luck, penalties and mistakes. But it wasn't to be. A spin in the first racing lap dropped him from the lead of the race. He rejoined in 11th and used that same pace to climb back up to 7th before a charging Roland collided with him and put him in the wall and to the back of the field. But how avoidable was the spin that ultimately cost him the race? In the past, some drivers have been caught out with the mechanical brake-by-wire braking that's available before regen braking can be used in the early stages of the race. It's not certain yet if this is what happened to Cassidy and where the blame lies, but if so, that's a valuable lesson for the rookie. Norman Nato's race from the front row was a little smoother than Cassidy's, and he drove a smart race, keeping his cool when giving up positions temporarily before making them back. But even though he crossed the line in 3rd, he was subsequently disqualified for running out of usable energy. Impressive work, however, for Nato, showing that when it comes to out-and-out racing, he can mix it with the veterans at the front. But that lack of experience on the more technical aspects of Formula E cost him on this occasion. A tough lesson in energy management. There's no question that the rookies are looking very competitive, but without the mastery of Formula E racing, energy management, regen braking, etc., the championship veterans will have the edge where it counts, capitalising on any rookie mistakes. Having said that though, with the pace and racecraft on display and the ability to get into front row starting positions, how long will the veterans have that edge?
Great to be back racing in the Italian capital, battle scars and all. Rome is just such an awesome venue for a street circuit and it never fails to deliver. But what did you think? What are your main takeaways? Let us know in the comments and we'll see you in Valencia.